Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Dr. Tengku Aisha. Welcome to all Corina participants. I'll be presenting a paper together with my colleague, Dr. Narawi Sidhu and Dr. Muhammad Sadri Abu Suman. All three of us are from International Islamic University, Malaysia. So let me share my slides now so that I can share with you my presentation for Corina 2021. So the title of our paper is Understanding Academic Misconduct Among IIEM Students During the RTF Phase. And we're going to look at the mediating role of social presence and also religiosity. So this is the content of the paper. Okay, let me move straight away to introduction. So COVID-19 has necessitated online learning for many higher educational institutions, including IUM. We started remote teaching and learning in 2020, and it's continuing until the present time. Classes are held online, and students access materials and attend classes online. However, due to difficulty in close monitoring of online classes, we predict that students may be tempted to engage in academic misconduct, such as copying in exams or submitting other people's materials as one's own. So, therefore, this paper is conducted in order to examine what are the factors that motivate students to engage in academic misconduct. So we're going to look at the class environment itself as well as the students' personality traits. So in terms of the class environment, we are focusing on social presence. Short et al. 1976 has defined social presence as the degree to which a person is perceived as real and present in the online learning environment. And when instructors are perceived as real and engaging, students may be less likely to engage in academic misconduct because they perceive that the instructors are there to help them learn, and they can communicate easily with the teachers, and the teachers persona is also seems real. So this leads to a more engaging online teaching and learning environment. The other factor that we're going to look at is perceived religiosity. Of course, logically we are predicting that the higher the perceived religiosity, the less likely students are to engage in academic misconduct. Okay, and that's the basic literature review. So, main objectives is to identify main factors that influence academic misconduct behaviors. We're also going to look at CMCUs, social presence, religiosity, and academic misconduct, and what are the relationships between these variables. And finally, we're going to analyze the mediating role of social presence and religiosity in influencing academic misconduct. So there are seven hypotheses proposed for this study. So H1 to H5 deals with relationship between the independent variables and dependent variables. H6 and 7 addresses the mediating role of social presence and also religiosity. So this is the basic conceptual framework. As you can see, there are three independent variables and one dependent variable, which is academic misconduct. Social presence, CMCUs, and religiosity performs role as independent variables. So this study is a cross-sectional study. We collect data using online survey questionnaire, and we obtained 469 responses. We don't have access to the sampling frame in this case, but we use G power to determine minimum sample size, which is 107 based on the number of predictors. So we met the minimum requirement, and we also used SPSS to key in the data, and we analyzed the data using Smart PLS 3.3.3. The data was collected from March to May 2021. So this is a new study. This is conducted earlier this year. So these are the main measures used in the study: CMCUs, social presence, religiosity, and academic misconduct. So 3 out of 4 were adapted from previous scales, while CMCUs was self-developed in terms of frequency of using certain CMC platforms in online classes. Okay, and those are the examples of items from each scale, and response items were Likert scale items based on 1 to 5. Okay, and more details will be covered about the measures in the findings section. And these are the basic demographic findings. So respondents were mainly female from non-science faculties, and most were a little bit more than half were Malaysians. They were also undergraduate students, 25 to 20, 21 to 25 years old, and almost half lived off campus at the time. Okay, and only one third lived in campus, and most were in Malaysia. And they were good students relatively. Okay, 63% had CGPA above 3.01, and moderate academic workload in terms of 15 to 18, so that's about half. And the other 20% had low academic workload, while the rest had heavy academic workload. Okay, so this is typically within the range for IUM students. And they were also told to discuss challenges with remote teaching and learning. So these are the challenges: technical difficulties, lack of positive communication, and conducive learning environment. So here we can pretty much sum up that what happens in the classroom is very important in order to determine how they cope and manage with online teaching and learning, including how they attempt to engage in academic misconduct or not. Okay, and we run the measurement model. Okay, so most items did not have problems. We achieved the correct comma alpha, composite reliability, and also AVE. So some items were dropped due to low loadings. So same with social presence, religiosity, and also academic misconduct items. Uh, After running through, they achieved the correct composite reliability and also validity. Okay, and in terms of HTMT, we looked at discriminant validity. Validity. This is not an issue for this particular study because all values obtained were below zero point 0.9, and based on the measurement model, we proceeded with the structure model to test the hypothesis of the study. Based on H1 to H5, only H4 and H5 was not supported. So H1 to H3 was supported. In terms of the mediating analysis, H6 was not supported, but H7 was supported. So in terms of the mediating analysis, the confidence interval bias upper and lower limit did not straddle zero. So we concluded that there's a significant mediation for H7, okay, but not for H6. So in discussing the results of the study, we can say that CMC use tend to lead to better social presence. So if students regularly use CMC to communicate with their lecturers, they tend to perceive a better learning environment where there's interaction and discussions, and also a richer learning communication process with their lecturers. Okay, and there's also positive relationship between social presence and religiosity. So the more they communicate with lecturers and perceive that there's a engaging communication between students and also lecturers, it also led to a more positive view of religious values. Okay, and there's a negative relationship between religiosity and also academic misconduct behavior. So religiosity tend to deter students from engaging in academic misconduct behavior, and the two hypotheses that were not significant, although it was in the direction that is predicted. As social presence and CMC use was negatively related to academic misconduct, although it's not significant. And social presence is not a significant mediator, but religiosity is. And however, the model had very modest values in terms of predictive value, lah, where it's zero point zero 0.02. And but moving further, so social presence, religiosity, and CMC use only contribute 3% of the variance explained in academic misconduct behavior. However, regular use of CMC should be encouraged in classrooms in order to create better social presence. So this can make online classes more personal, rich, and can assist in creating an online presence of lecturers where interaction is encouraged. So if you encourage interaction with positive and frequent CMC platforms, this will lead to better impression of lecturers, where they're deemed as engaging and having a discernible online presence. And perhaps that will deter students also in the future from uh, engaging in not only academic misconduct, but other types of negative behaviors as well. New communication technology can also function as a positive influence on students' views on religion, where interactive communication between lecturers and students tend to lead to increased perceived religiosity. Okay, and finally, of course, to sum up, religiosity is an important consideration in managing academic misconduct. So I would say that Islamic values stressed by IIUM is definitely a factor when discouraging students from engaging in academic misconduct. So, social presence and regular communication must also be emphasized, but it's only effective if students already have a positive view or are already engaging in religiosity. Therefore, to reduce misconduct, lecturers should emphasize on Islamic values in the online teaching and learning process. So this is also in line with IAUM principles, where we're supposed to not only produce students who are ready for the marketplace, but those who espouse positive Islamic values. So to manage issues with academic misconduct in online classrooms, lecturers should engage in frequent communication with students using different platforms to reduce miscommunication, encourage accountability, and to remind students on Islamic ethics in the classroom. And finally, of course, to deter or to discourage students from engaging in academic misconduct, assessments should also be tailored to assessment that discourages cheating and more to testing students' critical understanding of the course and also the subject matter. So that's it for my presentation today. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye, everyone.